That is some good music, isn't it, Zach? Yeah, actually it's not. I don't like that music at all. We're going to have to work on that.
It's all right.
What
It's gotta
happened
where it counts.
Where's the hits kind of music? Something somebody might recognize. What happened to that music?
Oh, the copyrighted music?
Yeah.
Well, see, the show goes on YouTube, and if we post that stuff, we'll get content ID'd. So we're kind of trying to find the nice in-between. But I'll see what we can do. Maybe
So
we'll
there's
work
bound to
something
be
out.
a way that if we're like, hey, that was, Jimi Hendrix.
Sure.
Doesn't that give him like the thing?
If we offer credit, if we play 8 seconds of the Red Hot Chili Peppers or something and
Yeah.
let everybody know,
Yeah.
like maybe we can squeeze by.
I listen to Mark Davis in the morning. He always plays copyrighted music and been
Well,
like, hey, this was like the #1 record in 1984.
Mark Davis is on the terrestrial thing. He doesn't have a cool podcast like you do.
Oh yeah, he's not big time yet.
Right.
Well, nevertheless, hey, it's going to be a great show today. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams, and I'm excited to be here. It is nasty and wet, and I'm still a little damp from my walk-in from the parking lot, but we are dry now. We're going to have a great show, and we got an awesome guest host with us today, Tommy Pistana. Tommy, how you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Tommy Pistana is the founder of the Pistana Group with Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage in Southlake. Did I get that right?
That is correct.
Right on, right on. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
What do you think of all the this high-tech studio?
This is awesome. The
Yeah.
lights, you got the TVs, everything. Cameras all over the place.
We upgraded the cameras. These are new things.
This
So
is
if
an
you're-
upgrade from
if
last
you're, If
week.
you're watching this on YouTube, it works. That's what we got. But otherwise, it's coming along.
Yeah, it's looking really, really good.
Thanks.
So it's Tuesday after a holiday weekend. Everybody have a good weekend? Zach, what'd you do?
I had an okay weekend. Believe it or not, my girlfriend got in a car accident. It's a bummer. She's okay. Everybody's all right. But kind of a downer on a Saturday. But Sunday was all right. How about yourself?
Well, you had a girlfriend last week, and you have a girlfriend this week. So it's the same girlfriend.
Hey,
You've
believe
made
it
it
or not,
another week.
It
Okay,
is.
wow.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm a
Congrats.
monogamous individual.
How
what
many
can I say?
weeks have y'all been together?
I can give you years.
Oh,
Wow.
whoa! It's
Yeah.
real
Impressive.
serious.
High
Okay.
school sweethearts.
High school. Wow.
I know we've been around for a long time. I gotta do something about this.
Is she okay from
I
the
gotta
car
make
accident?
make some moves. Yeah, she's all right. Everybody's okay.
Yeah. Was it her fault?
Yeah.
Bummer.
If anybody from the insurance companies listening, no, of course not. I'm just kidding. This is all satire. But yeah,
Well,
it's
if
a
it
little
was,
bit
if
her
it's
fault.
my insurance company, they're definitely not listening because I don't think my insurance company does any work. So, and we won't mention their names. We have way too many listeners on this show. Tommy, what'd you do?
This weekend was filled with kiddo basketball
Oh,
and
yeah?
soccer.
basketball and soccer.
Nice.
Got a couple kiddos.
I do. 2 little girls.
Aw,
Shout out to Elle and Mia.
Elle and me. Those are great. Yeah, those are great names.
Nice. So, what's more fun to observe, soccer or basketball?
Mia is she's the little one. She's the soccer player now, but I've got to say basketball. I've always had a passion for basketball.
Yeah.
Since, as you can see, I'm about 6'9",
Yeah.
280 pounds. Just kidding.
Basketball fiend.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy the basketball. It's fun.
Yeah.
Anytime you're watching your kids
Yeah.
play sports.
That's a good time. I feel like there's more verticality with basketball. Soccer kind of all
Moves
stays
a
on the
little
ground.
faster.
Yeah, you can't really keep track
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Basketball's indoors. It's nice. air
Exactly.
conditioning. Yeah.
As long as you can deal with the crazy parents out there,
Yeah, that's true. My boys are in basketball. We haven't done soccer yet, so I was just wondering about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nice. So, good. We did a lot of basketball this weekend. We also checked out this cool restaurant. It's actually somewhat near you, Tommy. Have you ever been to Chef's Point?
I have not.
Have you heard of it?
No, tell me about it.
what is
So,
that?
yeah, it's cool. So it was on that show, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. You ever seen that show
Oh,
on
yeah.
Food Network
With
Guy
Guy
Fieri?
Fieri. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool. So we had Uber take us there because we don't go anywhere on the weekends without
No.
somebody driving us.
How would you exist without Uber?
I don't know, but
We'll see.
we'd probably be in jail if we didn't have Uber.
You can
So,
avoid
yeah.
drivers like my girlfriend, and you probably won't get in an accident. So
Well,
yeah,
it's not like she can't run into an Uber car.
it won't be your fault.
Oh, okay.
Or you
That's
won't be liable, really. It's the Uber
Right.
guy's problem then.
That's
Yeah.
true. So this restaurant, it's interesting. So the guy, the story was when the guy was buying it, he was trying to buy a restaurant and for whatever reason couldn't get the loan. I guess he's doing maybe an SBA loan or something and couldn't get one for a restaurant, but was able to get one for a gas station. So he bought a gas station that had a deli in it and then like turned that deli into a restaurant. So this place is still a working gas station, and it's like 5-star. It's unbelievable.
Really?
So it's a Conoco. Wow. So when the Uber was pulling up to where we were going, we're all dressed up. We got like our friends in the back, and he's like, is this the right place? Because it's a Conoco station.
That's fantastic.
It's really cool. So you should check it out. So that's how it made it on the Dive, the Diners, Drive-In, and Dive show, because it was, kind of a funky concept. And obviously, since that show, it's just blown up. And, I think they've expanded since then. But
where's this place?
unbelievable.
Chef's
It's in
Point?
Watauga.
Watauga.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
now.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Really, really, really good.
Huh.
Yeah.
How are the gas prices there at the Conoco?
You know what? We were in Uber, so I didn't fill up.
Right.
But they were pumping a lot of gas.
Really? I wonder if you can apply your bill credit to get like some rewards points to,
That's a
like
good
Kroger
point.
does, 3 cents off.
You're gonna have to come with us next time, so so somebody will remember to ask these questions.
Yeah.
We could have a lot more content for the show.
Chef's Point in Watauga. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, great show today. One, we got Tommy Pistana on. He's going to talk to us about his upcoming segment on the American Dream TV, which is a usual segment that we're going to have each week. And so we're excited to see you air this Saturday at 1 p.m. on TXA 21. And so Tommy's going to give us a little sneak peek about his upcoming show. So we're excited about that. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And so when we get back, we're going to talk about a little bit of news. We have another guest who's going to join us via Skype, Pam Goodwin of Goodwin Commercial. And after that, we'll do a little spot from our sponsor and move on out. How's that sound, Zach?
I can get on board with that. That sounds like a good plan.
All right. So when we get back, we'll talk about the cool headlines of today, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. We are back. We are with Tommy Pistana of the Pistana Group, Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage out of Southlake. Our normal producer in studio with us again, Zach Lewis. Hey, Zach.
How's it going?
And this is the real Matt Stoker, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Will the real Matt Stoker please stand up?
I can't stand up right now. I'm a little busy at the moment, but yes, I am the real one.
We tried to shout out to you last week, and
I appreciate that.
Josh was there.
I'm glad that I was here in spirit.
It's
at least.
true. Yeah, you were on the show whether you wanted to be or not.
Yeah, so I had a little typo in my thing there. But nevertheless, you're back, you're here, we're glad you're okay. And so wanted to talk about a few things going on in the news this week, some cool stuff, a couple of funny things as well, but one that I found really interesting. Have y'all heard of the Hyperloop?
The Hyperloop.
The Hyperloop.
Isn't that, I feel like I've heard of that. Where is that? It's somewhere,
I don't know,
right?
where
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. Have you heard of the
I think
Hyperloop,
so.
Tommy?
I think so.
So it's like, now this will be on the Facebook page and on the blog. So if you're listening and you're like, what in the world, I want to learn more about that, go to our Facebook page. Working title is Zach Sams. We'll link to all that. But the Hyperloop is this idea of these high-speed trains, but instead of it actually being a train, it's like it looks like one of those Wet n Wild slides, that's like a tube. Right, but it's bigger.
Yeah, Wet n Wild.
And so,
slide.
they have these capsules in it, and they send you through these tubes to wherever you're going at up to 700 miles per hour.
Right, because it's like pressurized air, and it's like a safe environment. Yeah, it's like a vacuum chamber. You just rock it down this thing.
I think it would be like if you were at the bank in the little deposit tube. You
Yeah,
know how
yeah, pneumatic
be
tube.
awesome.
Yeah. Same
I've always
kinda-
wanted to do that.
Who's working on that? Elon Musk? It sounds
Yes,
like
that's right. Hey, very good.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really impressed. Yeah,
I love
Elon
the
Musk,
Hyperloop technology.
the PayPal, Tesla, seems to be in everything that's cool these days. So,
SpaceX, yeah.
but y'all should check this out. It'll be on the page out of the Biz Journals, Dallas Business Journal.
Yeah.
And then flying taxis from Uber are coming.
Flying.
I mean, we have
the Uber's going to come out with the flying car.
Yeah, so Hyperloop. So you'll be able to get to Austin in 20 minutes. You could get to to Houston in 90 minutes. So I don't know. I don't know if this is real, but it was. They're building one. It looks like out in the desert where they're testing it out. I guess it's got to be probably in the Las Vegas area. So more on that, but check that out. That would be pretty interesting.
You know who I bet gets in the way of this whole Hyperloop thing? Southwest Airlines. I bet they don't like that at all. Like us just jamming in on their movement speed. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Is it me, or do you feel like in the next 5 years we're going to be living in a Jetsons episode?
That would
I
be
don't know.
brilliant. Yeah, I would love that.
We thought that was going to happen by the year 2000,
Right.
but
Instead of
quite,
everybody got
yeah.
afraid that their computers were going to turn off
still-
at the
yeah.
turn of the century, but
yeah.
we're okay. We're all right.
Other stuff moving on. Frisco, Tommy, you'll find this interesting. Frisco Station, which is a big mixed-use thing, they're putting in a 25-story, 332-unit luxury apartment tower. Have 1, 2, 3 bedroom apartments. Big sky deck, huge resort-style pool. So this is another big thing coming into Frisco. That place is just booming. Can y'all believe like what's happening down there?
It's
Frisco's
amazing.
nuts. In fact, it's funny. Just before you came in, we actually just finished producing an episode of the Frisco podcast because they do a podcast with us. We got
Do
a
they
Frisco podcast. Yeah, they're really turning into something out there.
Man, they got a podcast and they have just all kinds of
Frisco
craziness
Tower,
going on there.
yeah.
Yeah, so real fancy apartment complex. And I didn't have this in my notes, but there's another one coming. I think it's on Front Street in Dallas. It's another just super luxury apartment building, and it's going to be, well, you know, the Fountain Building, the green one that's kind of slanted and pointed.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a sister tower to that, and it's
I
going to
got
be a
married
luxury.
there.
Did you really?
Yes.
Did you
Whoa.
really?
Yes, sir.
No
Man.
way. I didn't know they did weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weddings, receptions, everything.
Color
Like
me
they have like
impressed, Tommy.
ballrooms and stuff in there or something? Okay.
On the bottom there, I think they closed everything now, but
Oh, really?
out by the fountains and everything, yeah.
No kidding. Wow.
Pretty cool.
When
Hey,
would
shout
you,
out to the
weekend,
Fountain.
weekday? How's the traffic around there?
I think it was okay.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Sure.
a weekend, Saturday.
Did you have recommendations for guests for parking?
You know, the majority of people, you know, it connects right to the Fairmont there. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah,
everyone
that's right.
stayed. You
Yeah.
could, so once you got in, you were good. You parked.
Sure.
Then you just kind of walked around.
Y'all weren't the first wedding to happen there.
No.
Okay, so they
Can't
had the parking
possibly.
down
Right,
before
right.
his
Yeah,
wedding.
they had that all organized.
Right.
We needed
yeah.
Elon Musk to create
Yeah.
some type of tube or something.
Right.
But
Just come right out on Fairmont. Done and done.
Well, that is cool. I didn't know they did weddings there. Well, now there's going to be an apartment tower that they call their sister tower there, and so lots. I mean, the apartments are still going up, and now it's the luxury apartments, and $3 a foot is what they think they're going to be those apartments. So $1,000 would cost you, or 1,000 square feet would cost you $3,000 a month to
It's
live
pretty
there.
steep.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. It's got to be a
That's a
great
lot.
view, though.
I'm sure it is.
Mm.
And then one last thing, I found that, well, actually two things, but I found this interesting. So just came out, the Fortune magazine's 2018 Best Companies to Work For list. Do you know that Texas had 7 companies on there?
Really?
Yeah. 7
Impressive.
companies. It
Seven.
was.
Any big names in there, or do you not have them?
Actually, yeah. So you might not have heard of them, but AT&T came in at 100
No,
out of 100, and their headquarters is in Dallas. Now, I didn't know that this company was here, the Container Store.
Are they really?
Did you know their headquarters is in Coppell?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Huh.
And they came in at 93.
Wow.
And okay, so at 82 on the list was Alliance Data Systems. They're in Plano. I'm not real sure what they do. Something about data, but
Systems,
yeah, systems and data. But they came in and they're in Plano, right? Encompass Home Health. Have y'all heard of them?
Nope.
No, sir.
I hadn't either. Headquartered in Plano.
It's
They're
underground
76.
companies.
TD Industries. Y'all heard of them?
TD.
TD.
Nope.
TD
I kind
Industries.
of feel like
it's
I
like
have.
TDI Industries. Like that's kind of how their logo looks. But they're headquartered in Dallas. They made it. And then Ryan Inc., which I've seen them everywhere, but I'm still not sure what they do. But
Well, I think they have a building just across the way. Yeah,
I believe
I'm pretty
they
sure
do.
that's a Ryan
yeah,
building.
that is a Ryan
yeah.
building. So this is linked on the website as well, and the Facebook page. So check this out. And if you're working in any of those companies, congratulations to your company. And then so at number 15. So right now we're at 71. Ryan is 71 out of 100 in America. That's still pretty great. But at 15 was Texas Health Resources, which they're like hospitals. You know, you see that THR and all the hospitals. They're headquartered in Arlington. They came in at number 15 in Texas. So 7 companies in Texas made it.
Good to be in Texas.
Yeah,
Are these
absolutely.
most hospitable? Because in that case, it's almost cheating. But
They're
these are
the
the
best companies to work for. They do surveys. They send stuff out,
Yeah.
and people get in on them. I've never taken one of the surveys, so
Yeah.
who knows who's doing it. But do you want to know who number 1 was?
Of
Just
course.
they're not in Texas.
For grins, yeah.
Yeah,
what do you
any
got?
guesses?
Frito-Lay.
No, it's not Frito-Lay.
Not
They're in
Frito-Lay.
Texas.
Yeah,
So
they are.
it's the clue there was they're not in Texas.
Right.
Tommy?
I'm gonna go with. We
You're-
already said AT&T, right?
I did.
I don't know.
You're really thinking about this
Shoot.
one.
It's the federal government.
Ah.
I'm totally kidding. That is
Oh.
absolutely not true.
Man,
they
I
didn't even
almost
make
got up.
they didn't even make the list.
Ouch.
Number 1 was Salesforce in San Francisco, the big
Ah,
CRM
yes.
company. Yeah,
CRM.
So I didn't.
CRM.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were in San Fran, but I guess that makes sense since they're like a technology company. So, congratulations to all the companies in Texas that made it there. Texas is the place to be. I mean, that's where the funny thing is, as I was looking down the list, a lot of the companies that were listed there have huge operations in Texas as well, but they're not headquartered here. So you have to be headquartered here. That was kind of the thing. But as we continue to grow and I don't know why Toyota didn't make that list, but maybe they will next year. Who knows
Yeah,
about
what's
that?
going on
But they
with
would be a
Toyota?
good one for us. So anyway, I found that good. That's what's in the news. We got good news here in Texas, and that's what we talk about here on the Working Title Show. When we get back, we're going to talk to Tommy Pistana about his upcoming segment on the American Dream TV. Stay tuned. Ho, 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 there we go. We're back. That's Tommy Pistana's entrance music right there.
Wow, I like it.
Man, we need more guests like you, gasoline and testosterone. I like it. All right, see, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. All right, we'll save that track.
That's a good one.
Who is that playing that?
Yeah, who is that in there?
Well, so this is from our audio library. It's just called 80s Metal.
All right.
So I'm gonna hang on to that one.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is, but
I'm gonna go with Slayer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I saw these guys. They were playing at some beach resort we were at. They
Yeah.
were like 10 o'clock.
It's
to
this
10
slick,
o'clock.
this
Late
slick
night
80s,
move.
80s hair metal band called Anonymous. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of them,
Yeah.
but they are awesome.
what are they doing? They're ripping.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Ripping
Good
and
stuff.
tearing.
All right, well done. All right, so we're back. We have, as I've mentioned before, Tommy Pistana with the Pistana Group, Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage in Southlake. Tommy, you're going to be on TV this weekend.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
The American Dream TV.
I'm excited, even though I think my looks are much better for radio and podcasts. But
Yeah, I don't
I think
know.
it's
We have an
gonna be fun.
online poll going on that
Okay.
right now, so we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead and vote.
We'll
Let
let
us
you
know
know
what
the
you think.
results here soon. But the American Dream now. So we the first one aired this past Saturday. Show went well. So tell us what brought you. What interested you in the American Dream? Why is this show? What does it mean to you to be on this?
Well, first of all, it's a big honor. I think there's so much negative media out there.
Sure.
Anywhere you look, you turn on the news. If you want to get upset, just turn on the news.
Yeah.
Everything's negative, and that's just the world we live in. So this show puts a different light on that. It's an opportunity for like-minded people to talk about what they do, inspire other people, and
Sure.
I just think overall it's a great show. So I'm real excited.
It's just it's refreshing to not turn on something that's news oriented and not be angry 2 or 3 minutes into it because either the country's going to hell in a handbasket or it's another murder. I just it's always just something.
Yep.
And the American Dream, they have guests on there that have something cool to say, that they're doing something that's exciting and kind of get you pumped up versus down in the dumps.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is, we live in an unbelievable country, and there's so many opportunities and there's challenges out there, but
Yeah, who doesn't have challenges?
exactly. And we're in such a great country. There's so many opportunities, so many things that, we can learn. And, I just think it's all about the American dream.
Yeah,
so,
let's celebrate it, right?
Exactly.
Versus tear it down. So, well, good. So we're excited to see you this Saturday, and that's going to be on TXA 21 at 1 p.m. So tell us a little bit about kind of what you're talking about in this segment. I know this is, one of many, but, where you as a realtor, and that's kind of how the show's based for your segment, is going to be around the real estate industry. So, well, tell us first, how'd you get into real estate, and then tell us a little bit about what you're going to talk about on the show.
Well, I've only been in real estate for about 6 years now. I've been fortunate and blessed to grow pretty quick and build a pretty successful team. My background's in the hospitality management field, so
right.
Well,
you have to be hospitable with your clients in real estate, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The joke was I used to get yelled at in my face. Now it's on the phone, so it can't be that difficult. But
right.
No. So I started about 6 years ago with Coldwell Banker. Was on my own. Grinded, worked hard, door knocking. Going to events, sponsoring events, marketing, plugging away. I quit in my head probably 2,000 times, but I got to the point where I built a pretty successful business, and from there I've grown it, added team members, and I just love it. It's what I was born to do.
That's exciting. So in the beginning, it's all just about letting everybody know what you're doing so they know who to call when the time comes, right?
Exactly. I mean, it all starts with, in the real estate world, we call it our sphere of influence, reaching out to the people letting them know what you do. And my big thing is providing value.
Right.
There's so many real estate agents out there.
Sure.
Especially in the DFW Metroplex. I think we're close to 30,000. So what are you going to do to separate yourself from the others? What type of value are you going to provide? So that's what I wake up every day, I think about, and that's what I focus on.
Absolutely. What's the biggest challenge facing a home owner today, that might be thinking about selling?
We've been spoiled in the DFW market the last 3 years. Generally, historically, people move to Texas. You purchase a home, you get your 1%, 2%, 3% a year increase.
Sure.
But when the market went bad in 08, 09, we really didn't see a significant dip like the East and West Coast.
Sure.
Well, the last 2-3 years, we've seen 10, 15, 20% increases per year in some areas of the Metroplex.
Right. Far outside the norm for Texas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, for the seller out there, at this point, we've kind of seen a little bit of a shift the last few months, and it's expected. So I think as a seller, the most important thing that I recommend is obviously getting with a professional realtor to guide you through the process. I often joke around and say, this isn't what you see on HGTV really isn't the real world. There's so much to selling your house or purchasing a home that you need a professional behind you that really knows what they're doing and honestly willing to go to bat for you.
Right.
So pricing your home correctly is what I'm going to talk about on the show this weekend.
Sure.
That is imperative. Sellers, in a great market, they always lean towards, hey, for example, if my home's worth $500,000, let's start at $550 and see what happens. Totally the wrong thing to do. So it's the realtor to guide them to price it right, create some leverage against the buyer, and that's going to make the overall transaction, a lot more positive for that seller.
Interesting. So when the market's good, necessarily overpricing is not helping, is what you're saying. So you're not going to attract more dollars to your sale by raising the price in the beginning, is what you're saying.
No, actually, I just left a listing appointment about an hour ago where I kind of feel like deja vu here. I had this conversation because the client wanted to price very high, but that's going to hurt you in the long run.
Right.
When I sit down with my clients, I explain we have 2 weeks to get your home under contract. That's when we control the price. That's when we have some of the leverage.
Right.
Once you get outside of that 14 days, even 21 days, that's when you're going to start seeing the lower offers. So let's price it competitively. We can still price it at the top of the market because we've seen these great increases.
Right.
But let's create some momentum. Let's market it early. Let's get 3 or 4 offers right off the bat and push the price up to where you wanted it to be that way. Because the number one thing I see from a seller standpoint is they think once they get the offer and sign the contract, they're done.
Right.
Well, that's just the beginning.
That's the easy part.
That's the easy part.
Right.
Now we've got an option period. We've got an inspection. We've got negotiation repairs. We got an appraisal and a whole lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So the more leverage we can, grasp from that buyer as a
Right.
seller, the better off.
And them knowing that there was a couple other buyers, maybe that are still hanging back there probably doesn't help as well, or doesn't hurt as well as you're going through that process.
No, and that's the leverage portion I'm
Yeah.
talking about. What we're seeing in this market is sellers are coming in, or buyers are coming in making blind offers. And they might offer you 10, 15,000 above, but then when they go to do their inspection, they give you a laundry list of 5 pages of repairs.
Right.
Well, if you don't have any leverage behind that, you're kind of stuck just doing whatever the buyer says. But if I can go back to the buyer and say, hey, remember those 2 other offers I have sitting on my desk?
Yeah.
We'll jump to them in a second. So we're happy to do repair number 1 and 2, but not repair number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Right, all the way down the list. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So what you're saying, so going into this year, and we're at the beginning of the year, right? So it's not the hot time, but that time's coming real soon. So facing sellers this year is maybe adjusting their thinking a little bit based on what they've seen in the last couple years, where it's maybe been a feeding frenzy, and we don't expect it quite as active as it was, but still a solid market. Is that
exactly spot on? Don't get me wrong, we're still going to be in a fantastic market, but I personally believe we're not going to, the days of the 5 and 10 offers on your home, I think that's long gone. Interest rates are going up. I read this morning that, they're creeping up to 4.5%. Well, a year and a half ago, we were at 3.5%, even
Sure.
lower than that in some times. So
Yep.
buyers' buying power is lower now. So I think as a seller, you just need to be prepared to price the home correctly and let your realtor work for you and lead you in the right direction.
Right? Hire an expert and take their advice.
Exactly.
Right on, right on. Well, Tommy, we are really excited about watching you this weekend, and I want to just remind everybody that that'll be TXA 21 at 1 o'clock. The American Dream TV, Tommy Pistana will be on the show, and you'll catch his full interview and everything that he thinks is going to be important to our home buyers and sellers as they start to enter the market here in 2018. Tommy, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it.
And we will be back with more from Working Title with Zach Sams after this. All right. We are back. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams, and I have a very special guest on the line with us. I have Miss Pamela Goodwin, best-selling author and founder of Goodwin Commercial Real Estate. Hey, Pam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Our pleasure. We are excited to have you on the show and to talk to you about, well, you just have a lot of cool things to talk about, Pam. I see you all over social media doing all kinds of cool things. So we're excited to talk to you a little bit about some of the things you're doing. So, Pam, tell us a little bit about yourself. I introduced you as a best-selling author. What books have you written? And tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. My first book, I've been in commercial real estate now for more than 30 years. And so about 4 years ago, I decided to write a book because when I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Zig Ziglar, he told me everyone needs to write a book. So I followed his advice, and I think that is one of the best advice I have ever received from someone. So I highly recommend everyone has a book inside of them. So my first book was 1 Cent Lemonade to $1 Million Deals, 25 Jobs and 25 Lessons I Wish I'd Learned Sooner. And that was a really fun book, more of a bio book and how I got started from from the beginning into commercial real estate where I am today. And then a second book I put together with 18 successful women in commercial real estate called
wow.
Winning Ways in Commercial Real Estate. And each person wrote one chapter, and it's a really, really valuable book on different aspects of how to get into commercial real estate and where a lot of these women started and where they are today. A lot of them
Wow.
are successful real estate managers for large corporations. For
So
example,
y'all had 18 got together and wrote a chapter. I think I saw this one on your website. I think you were on. There was a picture of you with Barbara Corrigan.
right? Barbara Corcoran did my first
Yeah.
book. She wrote the testimonial for it.
Wow, that must have been an amazing endorsement.
That was if you don't ask, I asked if I could meet with her, and I flew up to her New York City office and met with her for 2 hours one-on-one, and that was a great experience. And then she provided my testimonial for my book.
Well, that is really, really exciting. So, so in your book, you mentioned how you got started in commercial real estate. Tell us a little bit about that. And is that something you're actively helping people do today, get started in commercial real estate?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, more than 30 years ago, my background was in interior design for commercial spaces. And my first half of my career was working on the landlord side for large shopping center development and designing interior spaces and tenant coordination, project management. And then after that, I decided to get experience on the landlord side. And I went to go work for Brinker International, where I was able to develop more than 50 pad site new Chili's restaurants from the ground up and on the border, which gave me the experience to develop property. And then 12 years ago, I started Goodwin Commercial, and where we buy land and sell it or lease it back to national. I found a niche in single tenant net lease properties, which is your McDonald's and Chase and Walgreens. We also do consulting for if you have a piece of property or land or you need city approval. And then we also do brokerage, which representing tenants to find hidden opportunities in the best successful locations.
Interesting. So you mentioned McDonald's and Chase. So are most of these corporations just leasing their locations, or do some of them buy, or is it all different? I mean, they must each have their own criteria that they like.
Right. They all have their different criteria, and depending if they're a public or, private company. But it just depends on if they need capital or not capital. It just depends. When I started with Brinker, they were leasing everything, and then they decided to, they wanted to buy the property. So they kind of go back and forth. It just depends on what their criteria is. And sometimes the landowner will only do a ground lease with them, so they don't have that option to buy it, and they'll have to do a ground lease.
Interesting. So a lot of different things come into play. So Pam, let me ask you. So, and you probably hear this a lot, but people are all big, and at least they're all big into talking about investing in real estate. And we know lots of people that are buying homes, renting them, and flipping them. But is the commercial side of the business for investing, is that an opportunity for people, or is the conception that you hear most of the time that's for people with a lot of money or big groups? Like, would you kind of shed some light on that area of investing, and is there opportunity for the individual investor?
Right. I'm always promoting that, if you've done some residential, and even if you haven't, I partner up with people that just have money and want to invest in commercial real estate. So, for example, my husband and I, we own an existing building, and that's in a good price range. One tenant, paid $300,000 for the building, and we have really good cash flow every month. One tenant. So a lot of people probably don't think you can buy a commercial building for, $200,000-$300,000, but you definitely can buy a property, or be some type of an investor with other partners in a larger property to get started. But I always highly recommend definitely investing in commercial real estate.
why do you think that commercial real estate would be a potentially better investment than, let's say, a rental home or, a duplex or something like that?
Well, I think all those are good properties also,
Uh-huh.
but a lot of the commercial spaces, the minimum lease is a 3-year lease, and it's more typical to have a larger tenant lease with, 5 or 10 years. So you're banking on that tenant to be there for that entire term, and you're dealing with a different, professional type person, retailer, commercial office, versus someone who may only be in that home for a year, and you're constantly having turnover. Not that it doesn't happen in commercial,
Right.
but
But no, that makes great sense because a business, they want to be known where they are, location, 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 right? So them jumping around from space to space just really wouldn't make much business sense. So that's a really good point that, yeah, you have the longer term lease because, people, they lease homes on year-long leases typically. And, so you're always looking for new people. So that's a good point. Are there other reasons for commercial real estate that you like more so than residential?
well, just that my background's in commercial real estate, and because I know it so well, and as an investor, I've just always gone in that direction, just because I thought it was, I don't want to say simpler to invest in.
It was just the area you knew.
Right. It's
Right.
just the area that I knew that I just really recommend to, people now that you make money in your sleep, and either residential or commercial, but residential, I always think it's, with only now, the requirement is 20% down. So if you buy a $300,000 building, 20% down, it's $60,000.
Right.
That's a pretty good deal versus if you buy $300,000 worth of stocks, you need $300,000. So I always, real estate's a really good way to diversify and invest.
Right, and a little less
and make
risk than the $300,000 worth of stocks, as we've watched over the last couple of weeks, how tumultuous that could be.
Right. So, there's some really good opportunities out there, and I highly recommend finding a good commercial real estate broker to help you.
Sure.
And I'm also, teaching classes on how to invest, so that, knock on wood, in my 12 years of investing so far, all of them have done really, really well and profitable when we have sold them or bringing in cash flow now. And there's a lot of, variables to look for so that you're protected. So it's not, really, really high risk.
Well, that's interesting. You kind of opened the door to my next question, which was going to be like, if somebody's listening to this show and they're thinking, I'd like to try investing in commercial real estate. Like, how do you get started in that? Is the first step, calling someone like you? I mean, what would you recommend to be the first and second steps to getting started in that?
Right. I highly recommend, calling myself or a broker that has experience in investment sales. If you want to start looking for different places to look for property for sale, a good database for commercial real estate is loopnet.com, loopnet.com. That's where all the commercial real estate properties are listed. Even Walmart, they have a lot of real estate that they sell.
Really?
Yep. Walmart has their own real estate company that they sell. The Catholic Church is always selling excess property. You might have read Katy Perry bought a big $14 million property from the nuns in Los Angeles for her to use as a residential home.
Wow. No, I hadn't heard that. That's
so
an
I
interesting
always think
story.
everything for sale. The other thing, if you're within your city, go visit your city economic development director. Go on their website. They always have off-market properties listed for sale. And that's a really good, they may be selling the firehouse down the street so that they can build a new one. They may, they list a lot of the commercial properties that are all for sale in their community, and they're a really good resource.
Wow, interesting. I didn't know that. That's a really good tidbit there. Walmart. Walmart sells real estate. How do you find where their real estate is? Because that's just funny. Because I'm thinking like I need to go down a certain aisle when I'm in the store next time. But is that on their website? Where do you find that information?
Right. So you just go to walmartrealty.com and it lists all of their properties that are for sale. And they
Okay.
have a lot of either land for sale or they have existing buildings for sale if they've decided to, relocate and add a brand new one. A lot of those national companies all have property for sale. I'm sure you know that that McDonald's is actually a real estate company and they sell burgers just to pay their lease.
Right. Well, I've always heard that they were the largest real estate owner or had the best real estate in the country. So I guess that's what you're referring to, right? They're on some pretty good street corners.
Yeah, they have last I read, their real estate company is worth about 40 billion with a B dollars in real estate assets. And if you
Wow.
want a really good movie to watch, it came out, The Founder with Michael Keaton talks about the concept of McDonald's, how they're in the real estate business. And it gives you a good concept how a lot of these national retailers are in the real estate business and just selling food or whatever to pay their rent. But that's how they make their money is in real estate.
Interesting. You said that movie was called The Founder?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We'll have to link to that. You've given us way more links than any other guest, so we got a lot of links that we got to put on the Facebook page today, Pam.
Good.
Well, I think that is fantastic information. So, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, Pam, how do they do that? What's the best way to reach you, and or where do they find you?
So my website is pamgoodwin.com. You can, I'll give you my cell phone number. Feel free to call me 214-929-9013. Feel free to email me at pam@pamgoodwin.com.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Pam, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing some of your expertise with us. We've talked about doing one of these classes together, and after talking to you today and how much more I've learned just on this conversation, I think we need to get that going. So let's talk offline, and thanks again for coming on and sharing with us, and I hope you'll come back on again in the future. Maybe we can get you in studio.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to having a class, teaming up with you and collaborating. And my goal is to make sure everyone owns some piece of commercial real estate in this big world.
Well, that's exciting, and I'll tell all the listeners out there to follow our blog, which is workingtitlewithzachsams.com, our Facebook page by the same name, and we'll definitely keep you updated on any classes or any opportunities that you would have to meet with Pam. Thanks again, Pam. We really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
And we'll be back soon. All right, we are back, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show and listening to us today. I thought we had a great show, and I want to thank Tommy Pistana for coming by and Pam Goodwin for talking to us via Skype. That's 2 Skype interviews, so we are at the forefront of technology. Really excited about that. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all next week. But before we go, I just want to mention our major sponsor, Kensington Vanguard National Title of Texas. Kensington Vanguard is a national title insurance company specializing in residential title insurance and commercial title insurance. We are located here in Dallas-Fort Worth, our residential division in Plano in the Legacy West area, and our commercial division here in Dallas at LBJ and the Tollway. We just want to thank Kensington Vanguard for their support. And if you're buying or selling real estate, please look to Kensington Vanguard for your title insurance. Thank you all so much for listening to Working Title with Zach Sams. We'll see you next week.